Okay. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm the product marketing manager at the events calendar, and welcome to the event calendar's office hours. Today, we're going to talk about our newest product, Event Automator. For those who don't know, Event Automator is our no-code solution to help you connect to all of your favorite third-party apps and tools with the events calendar and event tickets using Zapier to help you automate all of your event and ticketing tasks. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to Jeff, who's one of our product owners, and he'll take you through how Event Automator works. And after that, we'll have plenty of time for questions. So feel free to put those in the chat. So, take it away.
All right, thank you, Jamie. I'm still Jeff, product owner for the events calendar, and I have worked closely on this new product, Event Automator, which you might have heard about. As Jamie just mentioned, it's all about automation, and very specifically for now, it is mostly focused on Zapier, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I think it's Zapier. Let's end this debate right now. uh, However, we are actively looking into potentially adding more automation solutions. So perhaps if some of you are interested in that, if you could let us know, reach out. That would be a good indication that we should pursue that effort. So without any further ado, I'm just going to walk a bit through this. Please post your questions. The more questions, the more valuable this is, because after all, it is the main goal of this session. So so I'm going to go through the presentation, and then hopefully there will be enough questions so that I can answer them. All right, so I'm just going to take you on a little tour and a little demo, and here we go. So Event Automator is our new product. If you haven't done so already, you could and should go through the product page. It gives you a good outline. There's also, if you missed this and you want to see more of my videos, just kidding. You could also look, we'll look at that in a second, but we have a video in our new user primer that explains, it's a short version of this webinar, basically. So if you're in a rush, I suggest you head over to our knowledge base and check out our new user primer. So what is Event Automator exactly, and how does that work? So we have a couple of our flagship products, such as the events calendar, and some of you might be familiar with our other flagship product, which is event tickets. So those two products have, of course, different variations on them, including some premium add-on. And of course, Event Automator works with all of those. It goes without saying. So, so how does that work? Well, let me show you how that works. Is you have these your calendar and your tickets, and you're basically connecting those to Zapier. And once you do, it allows you to access a ton of other apps, third-party apps that you are most likely already using. So, which is super cool, because then in turn, what that will allow you to do is, instead of, let's say, every time you create a new event, you head over to your favorite spreadsheet, like so. Apparently, I'm sad out. I need to check it's me. This is a true demo classic. I'll get back to there in a second. Murphy's Law, right? Sorry. So really back to here. So if you create a new event, instead of heading over to your spreadsheet and just typing in the new event you added, you could automate that. That seems like a simple task, and that's done on purpose, just to show you how this works with simple automation. And then once that's done, you could get to more complicated things that might involve multiple steps. So once you create a new event, you could create a new spreadsheet row. So basically, you get to capture all the events that you've created, and perhaps this is useful for your accounting department, or just for archive purposes, or tax purposes even, who knows. So that's just an example. Of course, you could do far more than that. Going over to event tickets, yes, because that is something that is worth mentioning. We actually have two apps on Zapier. We have the events calendar app, and we have the event tickets app. Why are they separate, you might ask? Well, that's a good question. The reason for the separation between those two apps is because it will allow you to do more complex things and avoid confusion. So, and also it means that those of you that are only using event tickets out there and not using, because, well, I know this is a surprise for some of you, but you could actually use event tickets standalone with your other WordPress post types. So therefore, if you just want to use event tickets, or if you want to use as a combo with the events calendar, either way you can. And in this example, I'm taking a new ticket order. So basically, every time someone purchases a ticket, it will send an email. What would that be useful for? Well, let's just say that, I don't know, if you're having an event where everybody that orders a ticket gets a t-shirt. So you might want to get an email immediately as someone signs up for the event so that you could order a said t-shirt and get it ready for the event. That's just an example. Of course, the possibilities are literally endless. There are thousands and thousands of apps, but we don't have thousands and thousands of hours. So I had to go with very, very simple example. So how does that work exactly? Well, it's a good question. So the way that it works is I'm just going to breeze through this. Don't worry. As I said, we have great knowledge base articles, and yeah, we could look through that a bit later. So whether you're in the events calendar, for those that are familiar with the events calendar, this is what it looks like. If you're on the settings page, events settings, and you head over to integrations for now, you will see that there is a Zapier section like so. And what you need to do is, let's say you're going to create a API key for the event tickets app. Not too bad. I almost can type. You're going to choose your name. If it's not already there, you're going to generate. And when you do that, what that does is just that generates a consumer ID and consumer secret, which will in turn allow you to connect. And how does that work exactly? Well, I'm going to go over and I'm going to do here. So if you go to your Zapier account, by the way, before I forget, this works with, you don't need a premium Zapier account. You do not need a premium plugin from ours. Of course, there are limitations about what you could do if you have only free accounts, but it still works. And I'm going to talk about that a bit more in a moment. So back to here. So you have your Zapier account, you're logged in, you have your TC, the events calendar, or WordPress website that has the events calendar or event tickets available. And once you're logged into both, I just generated an API key combo, and I'm just going to go here and say add connection. And I'm going to say, I'm going to choose event tickets. And when you do that, what it does, it brings, oh, you can't see the pop-up. That's a shame. Hang on. I got you. I got you. In a second. Here we go. I'm the joys of live, right? Am I right? Here we go. This is what it should look like. Awesome. So when you see this, this will allow you to enter, well, the URL of your site, of course, the consumer ID that we just talked about, and the consumer secret like so. I'm going to switch back to our regular program. So hang in there. Okay, cool. So, so when you add the connection there to event tickets, you enter your credentials. And once that's done, when it's all said and done, what happens is, I'm going to show you an example. I did that in advance to, I guess, mitigate the Murphy's Law effect. So this is another website that already has a connection, and there's a lot of them. So you could tell here, I'm connected. That's all good. Once I'm connected, what happens? It looks a bit like so. You'll see your site being connected. Depending on your website, the URL might look a bit funky like so, but it works. That's what matters. So yeah, once it's connected, you could do the same for event tickets. You should do the same for the events calendar app. So now your site is fully connected to both of our apps. So now the fun can begin, as I like to say. So let's take a look at the examples I just showed you. So while it's still fresh. So let's start with the one with the events calendar. So what you want to do, they're connected. I want to create a Zap. What is a Zap exactly? It's when something happens, which is a trigger, then do something, which is an action. So zaps or automations are always in the same format. You have a trigger, and then that results into an action. So I'm going to use event tickets. As some of you might be seeing, there's always, we're going to keep adding new versions of this. This is why it says latest. And the reason for that is we're going to add more capabilities to our Automator options. And the reason it says beta is only temporary is because we just launched, and until we reach certain thresholds, it's going to say beta, but it really works. So no worries. Don't be taken aback by the beta label. So, okay. So we said, when something happens here, when we're going to choose the event. So we're going to go with new orders in this case. So whenever there's a new order, then what that's going to do is I'm going to click on continue. I'm going to select my account like so, and going to wait a little. Okay, cool. I'm going to continue. Awesome. I'm going to test my trigger, and cool. Okay. So you might be seeing this a couple of sometimes it's okay. When you see no new sales, this is an example, and again, the joys of life. If you see no new sales or if you see no new event, that will mean one thing. It will mean that you probably do not have at this very moment a ticket that has a new order on your website. So what happens is, as you're setting these up, Zapier is expecting you to have data that it could go off of. For now, it's no biggie. I will come back to this in a minute. But I'm just going to, I guess, power through so that we could take some questions, and I'll fix that in the background as I'm taking some of your questions a bit later so that you can actually see what it looks like. Okay, so I said, sorry, this is my bad. I did say when there's a new order, what you want to do is you want to send an email. So, okay, so I'm going to send an email. And by the way, just before I go too quickly here, each app, whether it's the events calendar, it's event tickets, or it's even Gmail, there are different things you could do. So I would encourage you, each app, if you go to the Zapier website, you'll notice that it has its own vibe. It has its own possibilities here. There's quite a few. You could add labels, you could create drafts. So whatever works for you. You could even search in this case. So, but as we mentioned, we're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to send an email. So long story short, I have previously connected my Gmail with Zapier. So I'm going to choose my account, and boom. Okay. So as a recap, whenever I create a new event, I'm going to send an email. So I need to decide who is going to be the person that receives that email. I'm going to go with myself because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one interested in getting this email at this point. But it could be a team, it could be a mailing list. So that's the two here. You could CC people. You could choose who it's coming from, of course. And I'm going to say for me at this point, you could choose the name. So basically what you're doing here, just to make it simpler, is you're really setting things up so that it matches your workflow. It might seem a bit much at first, but if you take your time, if you go field by field and define things, it should be fine. So basically, you're defining this once. You're creating a recipe, and once the recipe is created, you do that once. You might tweak it if you want to change a couple of things, but it's going to be good to go. Okay, cool. So heading back here, so I'm going to say, okay, for the new order and tickets, whenever there's a new order, I want this to include, I'm going to see all the options. So these are all the fields that you could be automatically populating your automation with. So I'm going to say, I'm going to put the items ticket name. So meaning I'm going to have, let's say I have a ticket to go to the Tulip Festival in May. I want to make sure that it says Tulip Festival ticket, or whatever the name of your ticket is. And I'm going to also say here, I'm going to put the billing first name and billing last name. So basically, when I'm going to receive that email, it's going to say Tulip Festival in May from Jeff, the product owner, which is my last name, of course. And you can choose whether or not it's HTML or plain. And then it's up to you to choose which information from that ticket you are going to be receiving in that email. So whatever is valuable to you, maybe it's a t-shirt size if you've established that. Whatever it is, you need to put in that email for your process. As you could tell, there's quite a few of those. Don't worry about that. We have very, very nice looking knowledge base articles. And so you could choose. In this case, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to have the email is what I need. And perhaps the customer email, sorry, not the billing email in this case. There are different emails depending on what your process is. I say the prices, and I want to have the quantity is going to be here. If you're unsure, of course, you could always use the search functionality. Okay, so let's say in this case, whenever, again, let's recap. Whenever there's a new ticket order, I'm receiving an email that contains the ticket name, the person that bought said ticket. I want to have how much they paid, how many tickets, and what their email is. And let's say this is sufficient for my purpose. This is great. So I'm going to click on continue, and there's a kind of a recap here. Don't worry too much about that funky looking code. And I'm going to skip the tests for now because I don't want to bore people to death. But you could, I suggest you do when you're alone. If you have any questions, of course, reach out to our support team, but it's fairly straightforward. So I'm going to publish that Zap. So what that does is anytime there's going to be a new ticket order on my site, now Zap here is listening in. This is what it means. Zap here is listening in, and cool. See, now I have less work to do, which means more time for fun. In my case, as you can tell by the background, this means I could play a little more ukulele, which is always a good thing. So cool. By the way, you can name your Zaps. So I'm going to say new order equal new email. This is, yeah, I know I won't win any prizes for originality. But one thing that's cool about this, and I want to show this to you, is here. You could tell that this is active. If for whatever reason I want to shut this down for temporarily, I could just turn it on and off to my liking. If I'm down the road, I'm finding out that I need more information, then I could absolutely do so, and I could decide, you know what, on top of the quantity and the total, I need some other information. In this case, I will just go ahead, I will click in here, and I will edit and tweak the process. So nothing, as you could tell, I could go back to this UI and just tweak things. So that's the gist of it. If you have any questions, as a reminder, anytime is a good time. I should see them in the chat. Yeah, so that I could answer them maybe on the fly, maybe at the end. You decide. Okay, cool. Moving on. So that was my example with tickets. Let's do one really quickly with less talking, more creating zaps. Let's go with this bad boy here. So, all right. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard. For those that don't know, again, once you're logged in, you should have, and you've connected your app, you could create zaps. So let's create another one. I'm going to create one here. Okay, this time I'm going to use the events calendar. If you can't find it, because there's a lot of them, there you go. You go with the latest here. And I'm going to choose, for now, we only have one trigger for the events calendar. I know for a fact that our awesome engineering team has come up with a couple more, so stay put. And of course, eventually, on top of triggers, there will be searches and actions, so stay tuned. Okay, so new event, meaning, remember what I'm trying to do? Every time there's a new event that's created, I want this to convert into a Google spreadsheet row. I'm going to choose my account that, oh, by the way, you could have several of those. So I'm just going to use the first one here and continue and test trigger. Okay. Again, if you have some previously created events, this seems like it's not picking up on those. Again, the joys of live. Apologize, but it does work. I tested it myself. It actually said there's no new event, but don't worry about that. As you test it on yourself, when you're not conducting a webinar like I am, it will go fine. So for the purpose of this this webinar, I'm just going to power through again. Okay, cool. So when there's a new event created, what do I want to do? I want to create a spreadsheet row. Again, each app has its own set of actions that are possible. Sometimes you could look up stuff. It's really fun. And most importantly, it's a no-code solution, meaning you do not have to be a programmer to figure this out, which is super exciting. All right, so I'm going to create a new spreadsheet row, and I'm going to choose my account, unsurprisingly. Cool. And I'm going to choose my drive here because, I mean, what other drive am I going to choose? If you have access to multiple, I guess you could choose others. And it's taking its sweet time. I'm going to choose which spreadsheet on my drive it's going to, and I'm going to use the events worksheet. So for those that are curious about that, I did set up all of those things before it logged me out. Fun fact, I was fully logged in just before the demo, but security doesn't care about webinars apparently, and want to log me out just to make sure I am really myself. Okay, so testing the action is, I'm going to skip the test again for the reasons I just mentioned, and be mindful of everybody's time. Okay, cool. So I'm going to publish that zap and turn it on. So, before I do that, I'm just going to, there is something I want to show you. I'm going a bit too fast. I want to go fast, but not too fast. Okay, cool. So what is it going to do that since I'm unable to, actually, I'm going to turn it on. So what it's going to do is whenever I create a new event, it's just going to, it's good. All right, cool. Excellent. So you could show all the fields, but it's just going to take all the fields from my event. I could tweak that and decide it's just going to be a couple of those, and it's going to create that row. If you just want a couple, as I said, you just select a couple. When you tweak your zap, by default, it should take all of them. So that's really all there is to it. There are, as I mentioned, thousands and thousands of apps. Some people like to, I don't know, whenever someone purchases a ticket, if you have a Twilio account, you could send them a quick little text message, provided you have a Twilio account, of course. And yeah, so that's the gist of it in a nutshell. That concludes the demo section of what I have to do. But I'm going to take questions now while I secretly sign back in my accounts. Uh, no one has to know. So Jamie, do we have some people with funky questions?
Yeah, I can put them up too.
Yeah,
If I have the Ultimate Bundle active, can I use Event Automator? Um,
go ahead. Yeah, this is a
yeah,
question for you.
you should see it in your account. If you don't see it in your account, you can contact our support, and you should have it added at no additional cost to you.
Yes, that's a great reason to buy the ultimate bundle. If you have not done that already, I would highly suggest it. Uh, so, if you're just with one of our product, you should definitely upgrade to our ultimate bundle. Good question. Thank you, Daniel.
Can Automator replace Promoter for sending reminders before an event?
That's a great question. The answer is yes, it could be used as an alternative. Of course, I would recommend you check out carefully the Zapier plans. As I mentioned previously, we're also looking at other automation solutions. The reason I'm saying this is because the way Zapier works, in a nutshell, again, look up the website. It's going to do a much better job and much more detailed than I'm able to do here. But basically, if you have a free account, you have a certain number of zaps or steps that you could take. And then there are tiered plans, meaning if you have a lot of events and a lot of people to notify to answer your question, this could add up to the price. So make sure it matches your use case. But yes, you could absolutely have in Zapier, there are some apps, especially if you have a premium account, that let you add a delay. So you could say, okay, here's my start date, add, I don't know, 5 days or 6 days, whatever it is, and just send an email to the event attendee or the event ticket owner. Yeah, so yeah, you could use that, especially since we're working on new triggers right now that are specifically about when the event starts and when the event ends. So yes, you could use that, but just be mindful of pricing and how much volume you have. This would be my suggestion. So great question. Thank you so much, Don.
Will you be covering taking payments?
Okay, I'm not sure what that means exactly. So if you want to expand a bit on that, Rick, that will be wonderful. Until you do, I'm gonna take a chance and go with my best understanding. Um, so uh, I guess what you're saying is if you take the payment somewhere else outside of the events calendar, could that somehow populate or have an action on your calendar? This is my best guess. Again, Jamie, stop me if you get more details on this. So for now, if this is what you mean, this would be called an action, meaning something outside of the events calendar or event tickets happens, like taking a payment on some payment platform, then have an impact on the ticket or on the event. This is called an action. If that's what you mean, this is coming very soon, but not at the moment. If this is not what you mean, please let me know. If you're not doing that right now, reach out. I'll make sure that I get the answer you're looking for. So, do we have more details, Jamie?
Not
Not yet.
yet.
Okay, cool. Rick, please reach out with exactly your use case. That way I could provide an answer that's actually useful to you. There you go.
What are the costs involved for the Event Automator process with Zapier?
Okay, this is a good question. I'm gonna prepare this. So what you need to do on our end is, of course, you need to get Event Automator license, which is a premium add-on, as I mentioned previously. So at the time of writing, the cost is included in our ultimate bundle, as we previously mentioned. Um, I believe, but I might be wrong, that we have a special offer for the people on this webinar, which I don't want to spill the beans just yet. But So you get a license for Event Automator is one thing, and I'm gonna show you quickly. I'm just riffing here. Okay, cool. So you have, yeah, I'm in Canada. This is why it's showing Canadian dollars. Okay, let's go with US dollars. That's more relatable for most people. So you have all these plans here. So as I just mentioned previously during the previous question, is all of those plans have different capabilities. It starts, in my opinion, to get interesting with the starter plan, because you get access to all of Zapier's premium apps, such as text messages, filters, multi-step, and whatnot. But most importantly, this is very important. So if you have a free or starter account, between the time you're doing something, it's going to take 15 minutes before it translates to an action. So basically, Zapier is checking in every 15 minutes. Okay, did anything new happen? And then it's going to process it. With bigger plans, depending on your needs, you get a shorter delay, down to potentially 1 minute. So the real important thing here, in my opinion, is this here: 750 tasks per month. So, for example, every listening in and grabbing the information is one task. Then populating the Google sheet is another task. So basically, to just create a new Google Sheet row for each new event is 2 tasks. So if you have a couple of events, this could add up. So my short answer to how much does it cost is, it will depend on your specific use case, and you should be able to do a quick calculation and find out the plan that works for you. So there's not one answer. It depends on what you're trying to do. And yeah, if you run out of Zaps, I'm sure Zapier will let you know and offer you to upgrade your plan. But yeah, this is the best I could say. So just do your research and some math to make sure it works for you.
Will this allow us to connect an event ticket purchased through WooCommerce to Zoom so that the purchaser gets registered at Zoom for the meeting or webinar they just purchased?
Yes, 100%. In fact, that we have what's called a Zap template, which I invite you to check out. What are Zap templates? So instead of doing the recipes from scratch, like what we just did, you could just use this starting recipe and then tweak it to your liking. But yes, 100%, you could do that. So basically, how that would work is, I'm just gonna prepare this. I'm gonna try hard. Hang on. So and yes. Okay, Google Sheets. Anyway, you know what? I can't wing it on. I tried though. I wanted to. But basically, when you have a new ticket purchase, so your trigger is going to be the event tickets app. When you have a new ticket purchase, you're going to take that attendee information. Or a new attendee is actually a better one. When you have a new attendee that matches a certain ticket, then you're going to create a registration for that person in the Zoom app. So you want the event tickets app and you want the Zoom app, and magic, it will connect. So yeah, that's a great use case. Thank you so much, Keith.
Are there integrations available for automating social media posts? For example, publishing a Facebook post when a new event is added to the events calendar.
Yes, this is exciting. You know what I'm going to do? I said I wouldn't wing it. I promised I tried, but I could not resist it. Hang on, just give me a quick second. I will get you what you're looking for. Okay. So I don't have, okay, let me share my screen. Awesome. Okay, so when you're looking at Zapier, as I mentioned, you have a bunch of apps. So let's say you're interested in Facebook in this case. If I type in Facebook here, you're going to see there's a bunch of things you could do with Facebook. So Zapier has that integration. And so in your case, you mentioned Facebook pages. Okay, cool. So here, and I'm going to choose, let's say, event calendar. There we go. Okay, cool. It's actually the perfect. See, when you create a new event, it will gonna create a page post. And as I mentioned previously, as I demonstrated, what that allows you to do is you could choose exactly which of the details of the event that you want to go on that Facebook page. But yes, absolutely. And there's if you want to check out, I don't think that you want to create a video, but there are, in theory, other possibilities. The sky is the limit. So that's a great question, Ashley. Yeah, check it out. My advice to you is check out Zapier.com and see what the possibilities are for your favorite app, whether it's Facebook or something else. There's a Twitter integration. There's an Instagram. Like there are thousands and thousands of possible integrations. So that's an awesome question. I hope it's useful to you.
How much does Event Automator cost? So on its own, one site is $69, 3 sites are $149, 10 sites are $399.
Okay. And as mentioned previously, if you stay tuned, we might have some special pricing for those that are watching this webinar and putting up with my shenanigans.
Rick says, does event tickets allow collecting payments at the time of registration?
That's an awesome question, Rick. The answer is you decide. But yes, you can. So what that event tickets is going to be as involved as you want it to be. The free plugin it allows you to either just have a registration, basic registration, just email and name, and also allows you for Stripe and PayPal integration. So very, very simple, not very involved, and that would work. If you want to go to the next step, you need to check out our Event Tickets Plus premium add-on, which lets you integrate with full-fledged payment solutions such as WooCommerce. So yeah, you could collect payments there, and also has the added benefit if you want to ask your attendees specific questions, such as t-shirt size or something like that, you can. So yeah, again, it's a matter of finding the product that matches your use case, but absolutely you could, with Event Tickets or Event Tickets Plus, grab payments and potentially more information. So make sure you check those out on our theeventscalendar.com website. And if it's still not clear, please reach out. We'll gladly answer.
Does there exist a limit of free zaps with Event Automator? Can I use a zap like Calendar or Google Spreadsheets to create events easily?
Okay, so I'm also noticing Daniel is from Colombia. So I guess hola would be that's a good question. So the limit is what Zapier allows you. So I'm gonna head back there just for a quick sec. I'm gonna do the pricing screen. So again, I apologize for the Canadian dollars here, but it's still real money, okay? Just kidding. No, it is real money. So with the free account, you get 100 tasks per month. As I mentioned, most Zaps will require 2 tasks. You could check out it. The Zapier site really explains in details what could be done. So technically, that would allow for 50 events to be automated in this way with the free plan. If you want more, you're going to have to go through the other plans. But that's a great question. So we don't provide the limit on our end. In fact, you could, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, connect your. I'm just going to head back here for a quick sec. Technically, you could connect your events calendar or your WordPress website with several Zapier accounts if you wanted to. I mean, I don't know. It depends what you want to do. But yeah, there's no limit on our end. You could have as many Zaps as you want, provided you have a valid Event Automator license and everything. But the limitation is definitely going to be the tasks, what they call task on the Zapier or Zapier front. Yeah, you need to say Zapier. That includes me. Way to go, Jeff.
And then Keith was asking, where do we find the template? I think that was in reference to um,
The Zap templates?
connecting event tickets purchased through WooCommerce to Zoom.
Yes. That's a good question. If you go to, I'm gonna just do this quickly, and I'm gonna show you. It's an excellent question, Keith. So remember earlier in the presentation, I talked about we have a knowledge base. Most people don't know this. It's our secret weapon. We have guides for pretty much everything. For our different products. So this one, as you can tell, is about Event Automator, which is fine. And you might want to look into customizing your Zap as which again is more details than you need, but you should find a link to the Zap templates we have for the events calendar, as well as a bunch of details. And we have the same for event tickets. So once you're on a page, let's say like this is the event tickets integration. You will find exactly what I'm looking for. Create Zoom webinar registrants for new event tickets attendees. So provided, again, what do we need? We need to connect. We need Event Automator. We need a Zapier account. You need to connect your site to your favorite the events calendar app. In this case, it's Event Tickets. You also need a Zoom account. But once you have all these ducks lined in a row, you could just start from here. And when you click on Try It, what that's going to do is it's going to create a new Zap, get you through the process I showed you earlier, and just tweak it to your liking. Make sure it's the right fields that go at the right spot. Test it before it goes live. And so you have a bunch of those. We're going to add to those Zap templates, but there's quite a few already to get you started. So hopefully that helps. Play around with it and let us know what you think.
Last chance for questions.
Last chance. Now that's quite a good crowd. By the way, if you're watching this as a replay, maybe with your morning coffee tomorrow or sometime next week, questions are still good. We might not be able to answer them live, but please ask questions. Reach out. There's no such thing as a stupid question or newbie question. These are all good questions. Our goal is we're super excited about all the possibilities this could bring to the events calendar. And more importantly, as I said, more time for you to play ukulele or guitar, or take a walk with your dog and spend time with your family, whatever is important to you. I do think this takes things to the next level. Some other things that you could be doing, which we think are pretty cool, is, for example, we talked about that. Someone asked a question. When people are, let's say, registering for an event, you could add those attendees to a MailChimp campaign. So meaning that is indeed something that you could use as an alternative to Promoter, which is also good, but maybe you're more of a MailChimp person. So this is why we built this, is to make sure that everyone could use whatever app they have and avoid double entry. And plus also, as I mentioned before, do cool things such as, hey, if someone purchases a ticket, how about you send them a thank you note using Twilio on their phone? So I know it sounds silly, but personally, whenever I get a thank you note after purchasing something on my phone, it's like, okay, this person cares, or this person is using Event Automator. It's my first reaction. So there you go. Jamie, do you want to talk about any special offers, perhaps, or?
Momentarily. We got one more question.
Aha.
Will we be able to add other API programs other than Zapier in the future?
So we will be adding them, but yes, we are looking at. Okay, I'm gonna spoiler alert. So this is not a commitment. We are currently looking at other solutions such as Microsoft Power Automate is another one we're looking at, And there's also make. Again, this is before checking the possibilities. So if those don't pan out, please don't send tomatoes my way. No, don't throw tomatoes at me. But yes, we're looking at expanding this so that it's more so that we could basically serve more people. So stay tuned. Either way, you'll find out very, very soon. This is an excellent question. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay. So tomorrow, you will receive an email with a replay to this webinar, as well as some helpful resources that we have, like some knowledge base articles. And there will be a coupon code in there as well, that will give you 15% off your purchase of Event Automator. I can also put that coupon code in the chat if you want to go buy your product right now. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about Event Automator. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.